We are here today with Margaret and Joe Jones, longtime members of Good Shepherd. I want to thank you both for participating in this project with me. What I'd like to do to start with, can you talk to me about how long you have been at Good Shepherd?
Oh my goodness, it seems forever. But if I could, you would let me give a little bit of history.
Yeah.
We used to go to the student chapel at UK, which we loved, St. Augustine's. But when we had children, we found that they didn't have childcare. And we tried some other churches and just, it wasn't good. So, in fact, I remember when we went to Christ Church, Allie was 1 year old, and we had her on our lap, and she was carrying on, so I gave her the order of service, which she immediately started to eat. So, when we finished and left, and the rector shook our hands, and I hardly knew what to say, but I said, "Thank you very much," and Allie really enjoyed the program.
Well,
So I thought that that was a good way to get out. We then discovered Good Shepherd, who had a wonderful, it was set up, if you had children, they would educate them and watch over them. We went there, it must have been about 1975, let's say, and never left.
Okay, longtime members.
yeah.
So, apart from the child programs, what has being in Good Shepherd meant to the two of you?
Well, as a family, there was a
It's what?
as a family. So excuse me, I have sinus and my voice comes and goes, so it makes.
Okay. That's why we have your wife.
Exactly. Well, what do you mean by family?
Well, we love everybody there. Now, we've been going there for years. The student chapel, when we came here, was wonderful. The preacher was the best in town. And it was easy because we did by that time, we did have little bitty children. And easy parking and better schedule for us. So we went there for quite a while. And we loved the preacher, Father Hubbard. And when we moved here, we lived in these ghastly apartments called the Green Hill Apartments. And there was a little Episcopal church that no longer exists called St. Mark's.
Yes, I think that's right.
Which is very close. So even though we had started out at the cathedral, we could practically walk to St. Mark's, which was then closed.
Okay.
But we have just been, we went to many churches, so we're very fortunate to have ended up where we did. And we've been in so many activities at the church together. Our big together activity, and has meant most to us, and when he said family, is the choir. And the choir has meant so much to us. Joe, were you a tenor first? I can't remember, but ended up as a
Neither
bass.
can I.
I was an
I'm a quavering
alto.
baritone. How about that?
And of course, we have been through many choir masters, all of whom have been wonderful. We have traveled with the choir to Europe several times. Our children sang in the choir. And so when Joe says family, one branch of our family has been the choir, and always has been.
That sounds very much like the choir in particular was part of really the fabric of your lives.
Yes, it was. And I don't know quite how to say this. It was a service we could do for the church.
Was that important to be able to serve the church, the congregation?
regularly.
And remember all the committees you were on, my lord? Do you remember some of those things that you,
Well,
the
I'm-
choir master, he was instrumental in the committee to choose several choir masters, plural, choir directors, and music, always had a thumb in what music we had.
Yeah.
The sermon committee. I didn't do as much as he did, I must say. But on the other hand, I was happy to sit back and worship in the church, not Joe. So I did my part in service in the choir. And the one service that I did, I think, which was very important in my mind, was in the, I was instrumental in one of the people who pushed to have that incredible columbarium that we now enjoy. And that sacred space I consider one of my contributions, along with many others. So we love to sit out there.
No, that's great. Just to sort of revisit a little bit with the choir, can you talk a little bit more about how participating in that touched you and, you know, helped your whole journey in your time with the church?
Well, we're both great music lovers, and it's one of the things that we can do.
It means a lot to you, doesn't it?
Yes. I mean, were there times, you know, when either being in the choir or just participating in the church that it really helped you with your day-to-day lives and the ups and downs and the struggles?
You'll have to answer that.
Music, the church and sacred music.
Well, I was thinking about when our son died.
And the community was very helpful in supporting you
Oh,
and,
boy.
and wrapping
Yes.
around you.
That was the beginning of the columbarium. I think.
Right, that's right. And I think that sacred, the music, which is many layered as far as I and Joe are concerned, it's the quality of our music is incomparable. And of course, we are Baroque people. The camera can't see it, but we have a harpsichord behind us, and we're into Bach, etc.
2 harpsichords.
Actually.
The smaller one you can't see because it's behind the big one.
Right. But and so that period, the Baroque period, is the church. Wouldn't you say that? What would you say about that Baroque period?
About the music.
Yeah.
Well, the Episcopal Church and the Church of England have evolved with special kinds of ways to sing the Psalms, for example. And just talking about music, the quality of the music is always important to Episcopalians. You remember we're called the Frozen Joes, and that's one of the reasons I couldn't possibly go to a church with bad music. Now that just shows you how shallow I am. I have a friend who is, well, he's just, anyway, I asked him once, I said, well, I've known him, we were in graduate school together, what church do you go to? And he said, First Oregon.
It meant that much to him. So, I mean,
Well, it does to us too. We couldn't take a church with drums and guitars.
yeah, what we've got now, and with Matilda at this point, but with all other choir directors, the music, the level of the music was wonderful. And then I think both of us feel that participating, it's a participatory action, because this is not alone. And so we are not only singing to God, we're singing to the congregation, and they do appreciate what we do, what we did. But we're singing with our friends and making music together. There's nothing like it. And that has, I think, structured our lives. So when you talk about God, I think both of us can say that God is so present in that activity that we're raised, wouldn't you say, Joe? That we are raised to a special level through the words, and you can say, boy, we really did well, God, didn't we today? you know, and you think, and of course, my favorites, oh my God, are the Psalms. I just love those Psalms. And I don't know, what's your favorite of the music?
Excuse me. That's a unique Episcopal music form.
Yeah.
Is singing the Psalms in harmony in a particular way.
You asked a very interesting question. The favorite part of singing, or is there a particular performance during the year that you looked forward to, or a particular...
Well, sure, like everybody, Christmas carols and Easter hymns and all that stuff. But, well, it's the particular way we do the Psalms. Anglican music is very special, and the main service is, of course, the morning service, with or without music, but music is the main way of doing the Psalms. That's such an ancient tradition.
And we do it antiphonally. Oh, it just couldn't be better, really.
That's right.
Now, you mentioned that your children sang in the choir with you. That must have been an interesting experience, you and all your children
Yes.
going to practice.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well,
Well, they went to different levels of practice, but yes, we all sang together, and it worked out very well. Actually, our son was so enamored of music that one of his many ideas of career was a musician. And it didn't come to fruition, as that happens with many young men, but he managed to the start of a very good career.
Okay, okay.
because he was a splendid guitarist,
Yeah.
first that.
Now, both of you are, I understand, accomplished musicians as well.
Oh, absolutely. I couldn't have put it better myself.
Do people other than the two of you like the music you make?
Only a limited few. We are, as you can imagine, the nerds of Baroque music. And behind us are two harpsichords. One is a huge, how many manuals? Three
Two
manuals.
manuals, it's
And a
a
loop
copy of a
style.
17th century French harpsichord.
And a smaller one too. So we've got two harpsichords. And
You can't see the other one, can
you have to go behind to see the other one. And Joe has been a keyboard person for his whole life. So he has been a really accomplished keyboard player. And his forte is the harpsichord. My forte is the recorder, this kind of recorder, please. And so we would have a group who came to our house twice a month. There'd be about 6 of us, and we'd sit in this room in chairs. We have several the chairs, and they bring their own instruments because they all were really accomplished musicians. This was not amateur, but it was not professional in what we were in our doing, but several of them were professional organists and whatever, but also recorder players. So for about an hour and a half, we have a huge repertoire of Baroque music for recorders and harpsichord. So,
Did your group, did they come from some different churches, different faiths?
yes, different churches. One was the organist at St. Hubert's, which is out in the country. One, I don't know what church she goes to, Ann Stankina, but organist plays at different churches.
Yeah, but they're from Covington.
Yeah, Covington, she'd come down. One was from, she's here in Lexington, and was a music teacher and an organist here in Lexington. And I'm not sure, she wasn't an Episcopalian, but since they play the organ, they're familiar with all the liturgies, they know what to do.
And they know all the organists in town, of course.
So it was, I mean, we really went at it. I mean, it was serious for about an hour, hour and a half. Then we would sit around a glass table that's down here and have tea and cookies and gossip. And it was a very 18th century type of activity when you think about it. Little chamber music, little tea. So that's why music has always been with us.
Yes. Would you say that the music may be one of God's great gifts to his children?
Was that a yes?
It was a no.
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 Even that music was God's gift.
Was one of God's great
I
gifts to
thought
his
you
children?
said, do you consider yourselves
No.
one of God's
No.
We
Sorry.
ought to.
Oh, yeah.
Actually, we do.
Do you consider music as one of God's great gifts?
Yes, of course.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
That-
duh, as we'd say. Sure.
Yes, because it's as you're talking about your love of music and what it's meant to you, it also strikes me that it was a connecting element to bring you together with people and to share your faith and to share the love of God.
I've been in the choir since I was a boy. And Margaret joined the choir after we got here.
Oh, great.
And so, yes, and I think that music in a sacred space like that is a natural to connect you with all kinds of things. You know, because one thing that I have loved, being a very late comer to the Episcopal Church, at first, it was very hard for me to get used to the various rites and rituals and so, and a prayer book and something, and what do I do now? And I was so nervous. Joe, of course, showed me what to do.
Of course.
But once I got used to it, it was such a wonderful feeling not to use the prayer book, but just to immerse myself in the experience. And I think that's what Joe has always done. I just got to do it a little bit later, which is maybe good.
Well, it helped you connect with the whole experience
Oh, yes.
and journey in your faith.
Indeed.
Now, I'd like to just touch base again about the children and the children's programs, because it seems that that was very important in your decision to become part of the Good Shepherd community.
Yes, it was. I think, we felt that the children needed some systematic guidance. And neither of us, well, Joe might have been, I certainly was not equipped to do that. And we think that the best done is in a class with children of their own age, and I think they really benefited from it.
It seems that Good Shepherd, though, does have a fairly dynamic ministry and
School.
program for
It
children.
has grown exponentially. I mean, as has the entire church. But you know, it's been many years since our children went, so it's not, we can't speak to what's
Gotcha.
going on now.
Gotcha.
But I can speak to the children coming up, you know, after Sunday school, and they keep coming and coming and coming. So obviously something is right.
There you go. Well, I think we're almost done, but I always want to ask if there is any lesson, any advice, any thought that you can share with people viewing this about your experience at Good Shepherd. What would you tell them?
Whoa. There's so much to say. What would you
Well,
say?
we had experienced various Episcopal churches here in town, and for a while we lived way out in, what was it called, Green something or other.
Yeah.
And the church that was closest was called St. Mark's, which no longer exists. And so then we went to the cathedral for years. And
It's true.
when we moved, we built a house at the end of Hart Road, and Good Shepherd was much closer, of course. So then we moved to Good Shepherd because it had good Sunday school for our children as well.
And really, I think that that's really good advice. If you've got children and you want a good Episcopal education, get them over to Good Shepherd. I think that really thinking of the atmosphere, the congeniality effect, even the type of programs given. If someone came to me and said, you know, I'm waffling or I'm new or where would I go? Well, neither of us would hesitate to say, there's no other place but Good Shepherd. It has everything that you want. I mean, everything. And so...
Including parking space, probably.
Yeah, there are parking spaces there, which the cathedral does not always have. And, you know, it has the sacred space, the friendship, and I will just quickly add, because I know we have gone on forever, the outreach services have been incomparable for us, not only when my son died, but Joe has been through some really nasty medical things in the past years. We got flowers, we still get flowers. At the beginning we got casseroles, visits. Hendry came to see us. Hendry still writes little notes to us every once in a while when we don't go to church. I mean, when you go there, you'll get a connection. And I guess the word connection is what I would put first and foremost, because I always use this word, but the levels of connection that you can find there really are extraordinary.
And as I understand it, you have somebody who comes and visits and brings communion to you.
Oh my goodness.
Yes.
Our favorite guy,
Whitaker, he's in the choir.
he offered to bring communion one day, and I said, well, okay, you know, I don't know about communion at home. Well, he came once, and it was so wonderful. So he drove up in his little car. Sometimes he brings flowers that the altar guild sends. He comes in, and we have a ritual. He comes, sits down. Everybody gets a kiss. He sits down. We have a little gossip session first to sort of get into things.
Prelude.
Yeah, prelude. And then we have a wonderful communion. It's short, but sweet. It's to the point. It's what we want. And then, you won't believe this, he brings a tiny boombox with him.
Now, this we're talking about Whit.
Which, and at the end of the service, he sings what Joe would say would be the postlude. He'd sing an anthem. He might sing a spiritual. He might sing something from Broadway. Well, if you've ever heard him sing solo, you just get blown away. And we're just, and that is our Sunday. I mean, every Sunday we get this. He comes, I mean, he sacrifices himself, I think. I mean, he does this for other people, I'm sure, but, or other things for other people, let me say, but we look forward to our Sundays with wit, and it's wonderful. He's just like a son to us.
That is awesome. Well, Margaret and Joe, I want to thank you so much for taking part in this little project with us. I think people will find it very inspirational.
Well, I certainly hope so, don't you?
Yeah. That's the best we can do.
Well, thank you. All right.